This episode of the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast is brought to you by Groundhog Day is an event, not a business strategy. Are you ready to finally solve those pesky issues that keep holding back your business success and never seem to go away? Embrace the power of the S.P.R.I.N.G formula that unearths the issues and opportunities burrowed beneath the surface, and grow your business so you thrive from your intersection of your brilliance and your passion. Claim your copy today at www.thegroundhogbook.com. Welcome to the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I am your host, and I am honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today. Right now, we are speaking with Diamond Rodriguez, who is a vitality biohacker, optimized performance coach, and the founder of peakproductivitylab.com. By the way, for our viewers who are watching us on video, this is Princess Stella. She wants to hang out today. Anyway, Diamond has been coaching for more than 25 years in the areas of personal performance, team building, optimized business practices, mindset, productivity, biohacking, stress management, and has received notable acknowledgments in her work. She's actually done a lot of things, and I'm going to refer you to our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. View the post where this episode is hosted and read the full biography, which also has links to Diamond's website and other resources you may find useful. And with that, Diamond Rodriguez, welcome aboard. It's so much fun to have you here today.
Adam, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So the first question is, how does the work you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and the world at large?
Well, Adam, I would like to think that the work that I love and I get to do brings peace, fun, confidence, and solves important issues for the health and child development of every household. And that I'm fortunate to reach and work with entrepreneur moms in this space. And my mission is to dynamically impact the lives of 1 million homes of these entrepreneur moms, specifically with children with sensory processing differences, and addressing the problems and providing a lot of solutions that they the common challenges that they have, and help them establish a more optimized quality of life.
Well, that's awesome. So just so our listeners understand, because you seem to be quite the polymath, what do you do?
Okay, well, like I said, I mentioned I work with entrepreneur moms and sensory processing different children. And what they do is they hire me to educate them on educational support and resources for these wonderful children. And I assist them to kind of organize and optimize the way they choose to have self-care, the way they function at home, the way they run their businesses, so that they can have an environment that would allow them to give the support for their child, take care of themselves, and thrive in their business, and have a peace of mind, and not to mention have some fun.
Awesome. So in your experience, what are a few of the most frequently asked questions you get from folks who are going through their process of deciding to work with you?
That's a good question. Well, the first question I get a lot of is many ask me about those resources and that they don't know that outside of drugs and the common practice that deal with sensory processing differences in children, there's a lot of remedies that can help with the symptoms that they're not aware of, that they will not find through conventional means. So they ask for a lot of support in that area of getting educated and finding out how do you even assess any progress in that space. And I actually have a book that's coming out later this year that's going to dive deep in that, but I'm open to even going deeper in that. But for time's sake, right now, That's one of the top questions I get. And then another question I get is how the moms themselves, because a lot of self-care does not happen when we're focusing on our kids and all the things, right? So how they can increase their vitality, how can they put themselves in a position where they can deal with all of these different things, wear all these different hats, but still keep their youth and still focus on actually reversing their metabolic age, because that is possible. And taking the time and the effort and knowing the process in doing that, where they can be around there in a more healthier, more vibrant space when they're dealing with these things. And the last one that I feel like I should get more of, right?
Well, we're still on the ones you get most often.
Oh, that I get most often. Well, yes.
Yeah.
The last one is how to do it all. That's like the common question that every mother asks, and actually everyone, but especially mothers, all these different things, and they want to have the world, but how to do it all. And they ask me because as an optimized coach, I do show them how to automate and leverage the resources that are around them to allow them the space and the time and showing them a different way of prioritizing their time so that they can do maybe not everything at once, but get it all in there so that they have a better quality experience.
Right. And I know that with the work you do, there are a lot of questions. It would make it so much easier if people even knew to ask. But I can see from the outside looking in, there's a big not knowing what you don't know and not even knowing what you should be finding out. So not even knowing what questions to ask. So is there anything else you want to highlight in terms of things you wish people would ask you in terms of discovering more about whether this is for them?
Yes. Well, I would love for them to ask me, who do I need to be? Because a lot of times when we pursue care for our children, we don't really know what to do, but it's just really getting that direction of who they need to show up as. Well, for myself, with my child, I show up as a scientist, a researcher. I show up as an interviewer because I'm looking for answers. I'm trying to find those answers. So I wish they would ask me what do they need to embody to get the answers and the services and the support that their child needs uniquely, because every child is different. And then the question I wish they would to ask is, instead of asking me how can they do more, I prefer the question, how can you do less? So they can actually enjoy their child and the fruits of their labor, right? So I love my clients I'm actually surprised in how much they don't really focus on their self-care. And I wish that we can dive into that more and see the benefits behind that. Because if they see the benefits and how it benefits their children by actually focusing on establishing that, how can you do less, they will get more out of their everyday. And the last question that I wish I got more of, I would have to say would be, I don't get enough questions addressing stress. Stress ages us. Stress shortens lifespans, and what we eat, how we live, our home environment. There are so many aspects to stress.
Yeah.
It zaps our energies and robs of our youth. And as entrepreneurs and mothers with these uniquely supported children that need special support, having stress is just non-negotiable. It has to be addressed. And so there are so many things available that's actually quite easy to do that can just give them that extra energy in the day. So yes, that's one of the ones that I wish they asked, because the energy zappers are real.
Oh, yeah. Now, after your second one, I was thinking, oh, but does that make you a bad mom to focus less on your kids or spend less time on your kids? But no, I think it's or dad, as the case may be. But I would argue, just from the outside looking in, that makes you a better parent. Yeah. Because it's my belief that I agree with Gordon Gekko that greed, for lack of a better word, is good, and you have to listen to the entire speech. But part of what's in there is the idea of serving from an overflowing cup. It's one thing to give your last dime and be destitute. It's another to have the abundance. So when you have that correct focus and all this flowing out, your kids are going to benefit from that so much more.
Absolutely. And they learn how to do that for themselves. That's like the biggest thing we can give them.
Right. So let's have some fun now that we've discovered some interesting facts about me as well. That's actually covered in my book, Groundhog Day is an Event, Not a Business Strategy, by the way. There's an entire section called Is Greed Good? And it raises more questions than it answers, which is my intention. Now let's have some fun with you. What is something that people who know you would be surprised to learn about you?
Well, some people know this, but not all. I've made some incredible relationships recently over the last several years. And I don't really talk too much about this because it's way in the past. But I was in a wheelchair for more than 10 years. And I was told by my doctor that it would get worse and that I would never walk again.
Yeah.
And I thank God for that experience, because having my doctor say that ignited something. It fuels a level of determination in me to prove him differently. And I got educated, and I found people and resources to change that narrative. And with that same resilience and vigor, I coach my clients, because it's all about improving health and development in our household. And for that, I'm grateful for that experience, because it kind of just created a whirlwind to this experience with what I do now.
Did you know that it's possible to get over a breakup in one day?
How is that possible?
Well, it actually is. About 10 years ago, I went through a really bad breakup, and through one hypnotherapeutic session, I got over the basic elements of the things that hold you back when you're in that situation. I mean, it's not recommended you go straight into another committed relationship literally the next day. Because, and aside from the fact that raises questions about what you've been doing all along, it's not a really natural, organic way of being. But the idea that you have to have an extended mourning period before you dare go out there and test the waters again, and you're supposed to go through these 9 steps of this, that, and the other. No, not necessarily. Get to live this one once. Learn your lessons, go find another partner. But there are ways of expediting that so that you actually have the opportunity of being somebody else's blessing that much faster.
I love that. I love that. And there is something to be said to that, because the mind is so powerful. Very quickly,
I brought it up.
There was a news article I read. It was, I forgot what, when I find it, I'll send it to you. It was a woman who had she had multiple personalities. I forgot what they call it now. But she was in a hospital for diabetes, and she was having, I guess, what happens when you haven't been on your medication and you get really sick. And she shifted to a different personality, and the labs changed.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. So she went from having this critical condition with diabetes to being normal in that moment. Right. And it was just a shift in the mind. It was not physical, but it changed. Her symptoms went away.
Right. That's why we brought this up, because of some of the work that you do and some of the questions you wish that more people would ask you. Go to the power of the mind to make things happen a lot faster. And I also sense there's a bit of a resistance factor from those who would love to just medicate. Yes. Like medication is the only answer. I was offered medication because of my trypanophobia, which is the needle thing. Turns out it wasn't a symptom of generalized anxiety. I just had a traumatic experience that caused me to go into fight or flight whenever somebody comes down with a hypodermic needle. There's a way around that, and it's up here.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
Well, that I've been able to dynamically create in this world change and impact, and change the conversation really around child development and personal development, especially for entrepreneurial moms, that they have such big hearts. I mean, all mothers do. I don't want to exclude all mothers, but I'm just saying that in general, there's an area of self-care and self-love and developing how we see ourselves and giving us that protected time, so that, like what you said, so we can overflow our cups. I want to be able to change that conversation, because I don't feel like that conversation happens enough.
Right. What famous person, alive or dead, would you like to meet? And if you had the opportunity, what question would you have for them?
Well, it would be 2 people. One of them would be Maria Montessori. Okay. She was the spark that ended up creating the philosophy that we practice today in Montessori schools. Yeah. And really, I feel like her curriculum fosters geniusness in children, no matter if you have challenges or not. And Albert Einstein. We're entering an age of creatives, like they call it the age of the Aquarian, which involves more development of what he possessed. They did a autopsy on him after he had passed away, and they realized that his corpus callosum, that's the bridge between the left and the right hemisphere, was a lot more developed than the average person. That's where his geniusness came in. He had more connections in terms of how his brain worked. And I feel like if he was alive today, there would be so many questions I would ask, because I would love to chat with him about how he would formulate his ideas. And the book that I'm coming out with later, I'm dedicating that actually to him, because it's in search of him that I discovered all these things for kids. So I would love to have him alive today to ask him about that.
My question for Einstein would be, how many productivity experts got on your case about how messy your desk was, and how did you tell them to screw off?
Yes, I can just imagine.
Yes. So what motivates and inspires you to keep going when you're having a tough time or facing a challenge?
Oh, I have a triad of inspiration, and that's my
Okay.
faith, and my family and my community.
All right. Oh, and there's one more. If you go back in time and change one thing that you've done or one thing you've experienced, what would it be and why?
If I can go back in time and change one thing, if I can go back in time, well, I'd have to say nothing.
Okay.
I owe my experience, good and bad, and the wonderful people that I've come to know and love. Like, you know how everything's for a reason, season or a lifetime, and that's what made me who I am today. So I gotta say, a person with a unique set of abilities that from years in the making, I don't think I would change anything, because I love what I do. I love what I do and who I can impact. So yeah, I'm afraid if I change one thing, that might totally change how I'm
the butterfly effect.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So we're near the top here, and I know you have a special gift for our listeners, and I'll introduce that to them. But in general, right now, what is one action you want our listeners to take as soon as they finish streaming this episode?
Oh, one action. Okay, well, take a moment today, step back, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. It doesn't take much to do a little self-care and reset, and then continue with your day.
Awesome. So first of all, thank you so much, Diamond, for being with us today. And before you go, this is what I want to share with our listeners. If you're watching this on the video right now, you can see it. If you're on our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com on the post for this episode, you'll see it in the show notes. For those of you who are out jogging, I will read it out loud one time slowly. It's a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/empowering entrepreneurial moms. I'll say it one more time. bit.ly/empowering entrepreneurial moms. And what you're going to find at that link is a free interview series on resources and alternative development support for sensory processing different children. I myself, just out of curiosity, am going to have to check that out. I'm not yet a father, but I know that maybe perhaps my gift that I can give to the world right now is to look at the experiences of my childhood and other people's experiences and be in a position where, being detached from being a parent myself, I can at least provide a different point of view to help people who have children recognize, just from an outsider's point of view, because it's one thing to have all these options coming at you, and then you got your kid right there. So whatever you decide is going to impact them directly. It's another thing to have a detached point of view that helps you see the whole picture, so that when you are dealing with your child directly, you have more options.
Right.
And as you said yourself, your discipline leads itself to many questions that people don't even know they're supposed to be asking.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's part of where my brilliance and my passion is. So with that, Diamond, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been an honor, and believe me, an education.
And it's been a pleasure to get to know you and be on the show. Thank you again for having me. It was great talking to you.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast.